Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming out. My name is Yantine Shizuru. I think I've met some of you, but definitely excited to be speaking with and sharing with any folks who have maybe not heard from us before. I also have my colleagues Blaine and Brian with here, and we're just really hoping to tell you more about the project, answer questions that you might have, and provide some information. So, I'll turn it over.
So, just for the folks who don't know who Heliogen is, we're a US-based clean energy company. We focus on concentrated solar, which is, if anybody's familiar with coming in from the west into Vegas, you see the mirrors off to the left there. It's a similar technology. We're kind of version 2.0 of that, but it's a mirror-based technology that radiates, that takes the sun, and Yantine will get into a little bit more how it works. But we're here today to really talk about a couple things. I ran into Deuce about 2 weeks ago, and he said, you need to come to the chamber, you need to talk to folks, because I know there's a lot of questions out there. So I want you guys to know that in this presentation tonight is some information, new information that we've gone and looked into, because I know there's a lot of concerns about water. When it comes to this project, we're focused on safety. We want to make sure that everything we do out there is safe for our workers and safe for the community. We're focused on being good stewards of the environment. This means your water, this means your land. We are committed as a company, it's one of our values, to environmental stewardship, so that's really important to us. We're focused on bringing real economic impact to this area. Yantine will talk a little bit about how the Southwest really has an opportunity to become a clean energy hub for the United States moving forward. There's a lot of investment interested in investing in clean energy technologies like hydrogen for this area, and I think that this project stands to be one of the real first movers in that area. And then I think most importantly, and the reason we're here tonight, is to show that we want to be good neighbors. We're not going to move forward with this project unless we have your support. And we want to give you the information you guys need to feel comfortable with it. Hopefully tonight you'll learn a little bit about the project, a little bit about the details of the project for the first time. And so we're really focused on making sure that you guys have the information you need, but we're not going to come in and just build this and leave. We're going to come in and we're going to be part of the community.
To give you kind of an overview of the project, we call it the Brenda Clean Energy Project. This is on the map you can see, we're just north of Highway 60, kind of just east of the Highway 60 I-10 junction. The property is about 3,300 acres, a little bit over that. And a couple of reasons why we chose this site, we've gotten that question in the past, why specifically here. The site is what's called a solar energy zone, and basically it's been kind of screened as an ideal location for solar for a number of reasons. Obviously in the Southwest, specifically in Arizona, has some of the most superb solar resource for solar energy in general, but specifically for concentrated solar. Another key point, and you can see here in the map, is that transportation corridor. The site is located really close to the I-10, and so being on that transportation route is good for the hydrogen transportation, but even kind of more importantly than that, to Blaine's point, serving as a hydrogen hub, being in a location where hydrogen fueling infrastructure can be built so that people who are traveling are able to refuel here. It's really ideally located for that, as well as just the site itself. It has some high quality characteristics. It's relatively flat. Requires relatively minimal grading, which from an environmental standpoint is often better, because we don't have to go and just totally grade and kind of disrupt the existing vegetation and things like that. So that's kind of the site at an overview, and then you can go ahead, Blaine. The other thing I just wanted to cover, for those of you who are maybe not as familiar with what concentrated solar is, I just wanted to give an overview of that, because sometimes I think that's it's not as prevalent of a technology in the United States yet, so we like to share that information. If you look at the far end of this slide, obviously you have the sun. That's a pure, abundant resource, and the sun shines down onto what we call a heliostat, but really what that is just a mirror. We have these mirrors located around the field, and they point up to a central receiver tower. So by pointing this sunlight all into one location, we're able to achieve high temperatures. And those high temperatures are what's able to allow us to do a number of things. For one, we store energy as heat as opposed to batteries. Batteries can be quite expensive, complicated to install, and so instead we store that solar energy, and when we need it, we're able to use that that thermal energy to produce electricity through a turbine, and then the final step in this process, I mentioned we are making that green hydrogen as the end product, and so we take the electricity that we've made and we put it, use that to drive an electrolyzer, which is how we create green hydrogen fuel. And I think just to maybe stop there for a little bit, that green hydrogen portion, really what that is just splitting water into hydrogen and oxygen. So it doesn't involve chemicals or things like that. That is really what the process kind of entails.
Thanks, John. My name is Brian Kane. I'm going to use the microphone because I don't speak very loudly. I grew up in Houston, Texas. I've spent the last 20 years in a different kind of industry. Not so much drilling water wells as drilling oil wells. And so I've spent my career and my life's work in the U.S. oil and natural gas industry. I'm extraordinarily proud of that. And I have actually fought tooth and nail in my roles securing U.S. energy independence and U.S. energy security. And most recently ending my career on the oil and gas side as an executive consecutively for two publicly traded oil and gas companies. I say that to say this. In my time working in energy policy, one of the things that I've learned, and it's extraordinarily important, is that I believe that the United States needs all forms of energy. And that's my experience. In order to remain energy independent and energy secure. And this is one of the forms, and I would not be working with Heliogen if I didn't believe that. This is one of the forms that I believe very much in. Hydrogen is a fuel that when burned emits only water. When combusted emits water. It is environmentally very safe, not just from a contamination perspective, which is something that we obviously worry about in other industries, but also from a safety perspective. It's actually lighter than air. Hydrogen is in the air that we breathe every day. It does not create groundwater contamination. It doesn't get into the ground. It does not sit at ground level like natural gas does. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But it doesn't sit there and create vapor clouds. It disperses very quickly because it's lighter than air. It's a good form of energy. And when I talk about different forms of energy, when I talk about clean energy versus traditional forms of energy, fossil fuels and things like that, going out to Midland, going to the Haynesville or the Eagle Ford or the Bakken or Marcellus or any of these different places, if you go and talk with the most grizzled old ops guy, you say to him, hey, you know, we want to do this, we want to reduce these emissions, we want to create cleaner energy. Why? Because fundamentally, no matter where you stand on the climate change debate or any of that other stuff, clean is better than dirty. We can all stack hands on that. We can all get behind that. And that's one of the things that I think unites all people, and it's one of those statements that no one can disagree with. And so that's why I like this project a lot. That's why I like this form of energy. It creates a very good source that combusts well, and as Janti mentioned, creates this part of not just Arizona, which our preference would be that this hydrogen stays in this area, in this region, in this state, and is used in this area, but also for this part of the United States.
So I want to focus a little bit now on safety and environmental conservation. Heliogen as a company has a stellar track record. We put in place the most sophisticated safety operations. That also extends to the community, so we want you all to know that safety is a core value that we represent. With regards to conservation, and I'll get to the question about water here in the next couple slides, but we're also very committed to conservation. And so at every turn of the process that Jantin discussed, we're gonna do everything we can to conserve as much water as possible. So she talked about the storing the heat. Well, that tends to need to be cooled, and so we actually will use electric cooling when possible rather than water cooling, just to conserve the water. And then we listened, and we heard that a lot of concerns about the water. So what we're about to share with you are some of the results of the water study we did on the property. And we did everything we could to make sure we have a good look at what the water underneath the property looks like. We looked on top of the ground, we looked from space, and then we also, the gentleman mentioned, drilled a couple of test wells. Now we did that because there's no way to really know what's underneath the dirt unless you drill a well. For those of you who have wells in your property, you probably know that. I want you all to know that those wells are currently capped. They were drilled for testing purposes. There is nothing going on at that property right now that is extracting any water from the site. Now, you're gonna ask, how much water are y'all gonna use? And we wanted to share with you a comparison of the amount of water Heliogen plans to use in a growing season, which is the way we look at measuring water. So if you look at alfalfa uses about 21,000 acre feet of water per year for 3,000 acres, which is the size of the site approximately. So you're looking at 6 acre feet per year. For cotton, you're looking at 4.5 acre feet per year. For Bermuda grass, you're looking at 4 acre feet per year. And for Heliogen, we're literally using 0.26 acre feet, or 876 acre feet per gallon. So we're using about 5% of what the water is to grow alfalfa. So we're really using a very limited amount of water. We hope that gives you all a little bit of confidence. I would like to stop there and maybe open it up for some questions. I can answer some questions about the water availability.
Can I just say a couple things real quick? So guys, I mean, we felt like throughout this conversation, one of the things that was really missing was context. I think that, you know, we're not gonna stand here and tell you that this is the proverbial drop in the bucket. We're not gonna be flippant about this. Water is a precious resource. It's this community's most precious resource. We understand that. We're gonna shoot straight with you about our usage, proposed usage, I should say. But we do want to shoot straight with you, and we want to be honest with you. We think that contextually, or comparatively, I should say, relative to some industries that we think of as fairly common around here, it is a comparatively small usage. I would note that there have also been some bad actors coming around this area recently who had planned to create mega complexes and use a whole lot of water. I would say way more water perhaps than what we think is reasonable or fair. More than their share, we might say. That is not our aim. The goal of this project is to be responsible in terms of the way we run our business, responsible stewards of this resource. But we wanted to provide this context because if you look at, for example, what we're proposing is about 1/16 the usage of 1 acre of Bermuda grass. We feel like that just makes things a little bit clearer. With that said, we want to be honest about the proposed usage and be very straightforward with you guys.
How did your tests on your water for your alfalfa, your cotton there, how were those tests done? Was that underground watering? Was that done pivots? Was that done horizontally?
Yeah.
Was it done sprinklers? How was your test done?
So let me be clear on these numbers, and all of this, we can provide the sources from where this information was done. We did not test any of the water usage on alfalfa, cotton, Bermuda grass. No. This was data that was reported by Arizona State and the University of Arizona in their water comparison usage studies that we grabbed from. We know, based upon the tests that we did on the site, how much water we're going to consume. And we used what the USDA, the University of Arizona, and Arizona State University say those crops consume as far as their usage is concerned.
We also have 2 other water studies in the works. One done by a third-party expert consultancy and one being done by a completely independent third party. When we get the results of those studies, we will share them with you. We will share them with this community because we want to be 100% transparent about our usage as is your right.
Well, my whole life I've been on a well and I've never seen a test well that big. All the test wells for that big old chicken ranch over there were 4 inches.
Yes, sir.
4 inches is a test well. That is not a test well. You do not spend that much money on testing.
Well,
Sorry.
it's a fair point. I can tell you that we
True.
drilled 2 wells, one to the depth of 800 feet, the other to the depth of about 400 feet before we hit bedrock. Those results showed that the water in the aquifer is plentiful. It's about 250 feet below the surface right now. It goes down past 800 feet from what we can tell at the one location where we drilled. Now you're going to ask, what does the drawdown look like? Based upon our estimates, again, over the course of 12 years, if the water table's at 250 feet right now, we would draw down 7.6 feet of that over 12 years, and that's not accounting for any recharge that occurs. So,
There's no recharge.
There is no recharge. This is
Right
our
now, I
aquifer
understand.
you're fucking.
Hardly,
That screw is my drinking water, and I plan on being here for 12 years.
It's okay, we're having a transparent conversation here among
Right,
friends.
I'm sorry.
Nothing wrong with
No.
that.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You're on our aquifer, and that's why we're all concerned. We like to have growth in our community,
Yes,
but
sir.
not this kind of growth that uses water. Not like this. We just got rid of one alfalfa field.
Most of our wells are around 250 feet.
And who says we want growth?
Well,
We want nothing. Get out, everybody.
Okay, so you're comparing it to different crops. So you know how much hydrogen you're looking at producing. What is that, the water
Yes.
figure that equates to 20,000?
so 867 feet.
Acre feet.
Acre.
Acre.
Yes, acre
Per
feet
year.
per year.
Yeah, this 860 acre feet metric is based on 20,000 metric tons of hydrogen produced per year.
and where's this hydrogen stay? Does it go to Arizona, or is it going over to the commie state?
We want it to stay in
Our
Arizona.
preference is it gets.
Well, it's your
it gets
preference,
sold
but
here in
where's it
Arizona.
going?
It's gonna feed the United States energy.
Yeah, that means it's
energy
going over
demand.
there.
It's going to
But we
Long
want it to
Yeah.
be in Arizona because it's most economic for us to be in Arizona.
Sure it is.
Used in Phoenix, used in other parts of the
We
state.
pay
Absolutely.
less the shorter we have to ship it.
I have no desire to
So-
be feeding any commies.
Going to Long
I'll tell you that.
It's right next door.
I'll tell you that.
Would you shut it down if you reached your max and, the year wasn't over?
Yeah, absolutely, no, absolutely. We plan to draw down a very minimal amount of water. Again, to show you the usage. So if you're planting alfalfa, you're using 21,000 acre feet of water. Whereas we're only using 860.
Let me answer that question more clearly. Yes,
Yes.
we have an internal ceiling. We will not use more than our annual ceiling.
What's the guarantee on that? What is the guarantee?
Well, I think the guarantee, honestly, and I just met a supervisor, but I believe that he's probably gonna hold us accountable.
No.
I think that the county will hold us accountable under the terms of our permit and as the good business that we're saying that we're gonna be.
You're under a government agency.
Yeah.
Not this county.
No, the,
BLM walked on us already to let you even do a test.
That's
The
right.
BLM let you without our permission, but it's our county. We got screwed on this
Hey,
already.
guys, look, if we really wanna be mad about something, we can be mad about something, but the truth is this. We've got a project here that is going to create solid benefit for the community and for the folks who live here.
How?
How's that?
If
Where are you
we-
gonna find
if-
your employees?
If we get to the next slide.
yeah, we're happy to answer your questions. Let us get through 2 more slides here.
But comparatively, the water usage is much less than, a lot of folks would say, well, I wouldn't think much of another cotton production operation coming in.
That's
I
right.
bet they probably wouldn't
We
get
would
beat up
fight
in the
that.
Chamber of Commerce.
No, we would fight that also.
Yes, sir.
Who's your biggest customer for your product at this point?
We don't have, you wouldn't have contracts, you know, lined out at this stage,
Yeah.
You sell it into a market.
And we'll get to the timeline here in a second, and we're happy to answer those questions. We got literally 3 more slides to get through. You want to talk about the economic benefit, Brian?
Sure. I have to refer to my notes here. You know, look, I mean, from my perspective, and guys, look, you know, we respect where y'all are coming from. We hear what you're saying. I contend to you that this is a solid project in terms of the usage, in terms of pound for pound, the benefit, the jobs created, the employment, the direct employment, the induced employment, the sales tax created, relative to, again, a farming operation. This is significantly more benefit and outweigh the cost. When you talk about economic benefit, you say at what cost? And this is proportionally a fairly minor amount relative to those other uses that we looked at. So it'll create 300 jobs over a duration of 3 years, which will require planning, and we're committed to working with the county and the local jurisdictions, the local municipalities to ensure that planning is done. Those are temporary, that's during a construction phase, but there will be 30 to 40 permanent, high-paying jobs that are created. They will be of a technical nature. A few of those will be engineers. The others will be jobs that people who have a trade school education or who go to you know, a community college and things like that, and learn those skills, will be able to get those high-paying jobs with benefits. We are.
Good luck with that one.
Can you tell me where the closest alfalfa field is from where you're talking?
Closest alfalfa field.
It would be Fontamonte.
There's one, yeah.
Yeah, that's by the way.
And that is in a different aquifer, George.
Yeah.
Well, I know that, but he says this only uses less than what the alfalfa does.
Way less than
Compare
that.
that. There's no alfalfa grown there.
I've got a question for you, sir.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate everything you're presenting here, but I'm especially interested in your project because I live on 66th Street, right off of County 42E. My house and my well is about 3.6 miles just north of where your test wells are located. My well is 260 feet deep. Sounds like we're playing around with numbers in that area there. My only question to you, sir, is if when you put this into operation, and if my well and the 12 other wells that are behind me all go dry, you have a program to make me whole, as well as those other people, either through putting in a new well for me, or providing me water tender service, or cash compensation,
Yeah.
or anything like that.
No, thank you for the question. It is a scenario that we've discussed, and we are looking at conceptually what a well assistance program would look like. So we know a lot of the wells in the area, based upon what some of the folks have told us, probably weren't drilled the best. Other wells that have been drilled appropriately. If there were any issue with the college, talking with the college about potential apprenticeships, we're going to need welders out there. You know, the college has a great welding program. So there's a lot of conversations to be held, but we really, you know, we're here first because.
Did you get a green light from our county?
No, we have not gotten any green lights yet, as you
We have
said.
not applied yet.
We have not applied, yeah.
You guys were at that planning meeting where quite a few of us were at, we had lots of questions.
Sure.
We've never received any information on our questions.
Yeah, so
That's
I
why
think
we're here.
That's why we're here, yeah.
No, the questions that were already asked, you've never answered them.
Okay, well, we're happy to take a look at the transcript and see what questions we can answer from that. But again, we're here, you know, we recognize that we could have done more work with the community before we went in front of the commission. That's in part why we pulled it, because we needed to get community involvement. We needed to get community input before moving forward.
That last meeting, we had to report that this company was not very financial.
Well,
I mean, the guy said, you better start looking at this company.
as somebody who spends his life on the road working for this company, I can tell you that financially they're in a very good position. You know, they wouldn't be making this kind of investment if they didn't think that this was a worthwhile project. And so, you know, we're here. We're going to be here. We want to be your good neighbors. We want to be good stewards of the environment. And again, you know, as Brian mentioned, you know, we're here to earn your support. We're not walking in thinking we have it. We need to earn your support.
I want you to go back and explain how it's going to benefit our area. We are majority retired, you know, and I don't see where it's going to benefit us other than taking away our water.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's the only thing that I see that's happening, is our water will be gone. We,
So
individuals, will not see any
no,
benefit.
it's a question we need to answer, and we can tell you that because we've done this before.
We're not looking for jobs.
No, but there will be a cumulative economic benefit to the area by building the plant itself here. Those 300 workers are going to have to eat 300 meals. You know, they're going to come to the.
We don't have no restaurants.
Well, no, what happens is the rising tide lifts boats generally, right? So you have what's called direct employment, and you have what's called induced employment. You have what is known as an economic multiplier effect. And so there can be.
And I think one thing I also just want to say is that that's part of the reason I think we're having meetings like this and forums like this, is to understand what types of benefits you folks are looking at. In part of this process, one thing we will likely do is work with either a DOE loan guarantee or some kind of collaboration with the DOE like that. And one of the things that the DOE is really requiring, especially in kind of these newer energy infrastructure projects, is community benefits plans. And I think what they want to see is, have you gone into the community and have you asked them? It's not necessarily just this, oh, well, I make electricity and you're going to get electricity. It's a lot more, I think. I think they want people to be more creative than that this go around, so that people in the community are benefiting. And so understanding from you, what are these are the three things our community needs most importantly. And maybe that's not necessarily hydrogen fuel, because yeah, not everyone needs hydrogen fuel in their day-to-day life. But if we can understand what that is, we can look to see how our community benefits programs can benefit you. And I think, like, even to give a concrete example, not necessarily that I don't want to say that we have the plan forward immediately, but like an example is, maybe connectivity and broadband isn't good here. Well, we need broadband too to run our plant. So how do we work with the community to make sure that everybody has things like that? I think, again, the point of that kind of rambling is, what do you need? We want to hear that so that we can, in this early stage, see how we can incorporate that.
Who did you go to before you drilled a well?
We did get approval from, please don't laugh at me, we did get approval from the BLM to drill those wells as part of the due diligence of this site.
Of course, we knew nothing about it.
That's right.
Right, we would have helped
And-
you out.
Yeah, we helped you out.
And we recognize we should have let you know.
That's fair. That's fair, guys.
What?
Government just overrides everything.
She's been asking for a
BLM
while.
will do whatever they want to do.
Hold on.
Correct.
So, you know what, I'm grateful that you guys came here today. And I'm sorry that you're having such a hard time. The problem is that you don't understand that this community, along with a lot of communities in our county, have always gotten, a bad stick, okay? Because we haven't been told the truth, and we don't trust. And that's the problem. Now, had you guys gone to the board, and the board had asked you, hey, have you gone to the community first? They should have said, don't come here yet, go talk to the people first.
Right.
You're right.
That never happened.
That's what should have happened.
You're
Let
right.
me tell you what else happened,
Never
okay?
happened.
So right now, Mr. Minor just told you guys your roads are gonna get done in a couple of months, right? Well, let me tell you what happened in Lakeside, okay? They just did our roads. You know Lenny? Mark Lenny, our surveyor?
Surveyor.
They covered up all his pins. They covered up all the survey pins in all of those subdivisions. He came into my office, he is pissed. You know why? Because he had done all that work, him and his father and his company had done all that work make sure you find out who dropped the ball. Who was supposed to tell that company, hey, you're supposed to preserve all of those pins? Who didn't do that? That's why they don't trust. We keep getting hit and hit and hit. I'm sorry.
No.
You guys are doing a great effort, but
We still don't trust.
Listen, that's,
I understand.
Just let me ask.
Yes, sir.
Or tell you something about us.
tell us.
Everybody in here that I know didn't move here for a job. Didn't move here
Yeah,
because we wanted a better economy. We moved here to be away from
All
the
that
city.
crap.
We moved here to have our freedoms that we have here.
Understood.
Right.
And we moved here because we like it like it
And we
is.
want responsible planning.
Yeah.
We do
We
too.
have not had responsible.
And when we're
planning.
talking about economic benefit, guys, it's, I mean, would it be helpful, I mean, would anybody like if there was another restaurant or a coffee shop or something like that?
No, we're satisfied with what we have.
Because that's generally, okay, withdrawn. So here's what I'll say, what you said and the way you said. Guys, you're right. You're right. This project was not done the right way. All right? We didn't come in from the start and get beat up in this room like we should have. And we get it. We get it. And we're sorry.
Well, you understand that we're just getting started.
Yes, sir.
We would have saved you a lot of time and a lot of money on those so-called test wells.
You never
Test
had
wells
to
are
go-
not.
Here's what I'll say.
I'm sorry.
Here's what I'll say.
I live across from the well.
We've got a lot of time still where we want to talk to folks about what would be useful, about what we could offer. And we also want to get to the bottom of what a real use case is. And is it truly impactful or not? Because we're being told that it's not. And if there is some benefit in exchange, if there is some cost benefit that makes sense for the community, as well as for the project, as well as for the business, that's what we want to be. We want to be a responsible business.
And go home.
All right.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let's try to be constructive.
How about setting
just for
up
tonight.
a trust fund of a few $1 billion set aside for everybody's wells, that when they run dry, they automatically get paid from that fund, and their wells get drilled deep.
Again, listen, I think it's completely reasonable for us to have a plan in place so that if a well does, for example, go dry, you know, God forbid, there's a plan in place to make sure that that is taken care of. Again, our intention and everything we're being told is there will be little to zero impact but if there were, we should have a plan in place. It's a fair point. Oh, go, yeah, you're up.
Okay,
Yes, thank you.
when the first well was being dug, I went down there, talked to the guy that was in head of it. No habla inglés. I said, habla español. And so I tried to talk to him, he wouldn't talk. The second well, went down there again, talked to the guy in charge from Buckeye, I guess that's where the well company was from. And he told me everything. The cases are 8 inches wide, they go 1,200 feet, and they pump 200 gallons a minute. So, what you said about them only going, what, 400?
One went 400, the other went 800.
They were planned to,
1,200.
they were planned to reach 1,000 feet. The other one did not. It hit bedrock at 400.
And
I've
that's
seen
the
the well
same
line.
thing that happens in this aquifer. It's at different levels in different places.
Yeah.
There is a church and a house not very far down the road that hasn't had water for 5 years. They have to buy water
Yeah.
for those two places. We do not want to be in that situation. Our homes will be worth
course not.
0.
Understood.
Yeah, we get that.
When that happens, I sell beer.
Yes, sir.
You guys want to be good stewards to the community. The egg farm
If the booster haul eggs, they give the school eggs, are you gonna give us hydrogen?
Every
If
Monday.
you buy a hydrogen forklift,
There you
then
go.
I will.
Oh, yeah, we'll use some hydrogen with that. Don't dare run.
Okay, have you set this up, do you have this happening anywhere else where we can talk to the community in those areas to see how it's impacted them? Has this happened already? Somewhere?
We're the guinea pigs.
So-
Come to Arizona to do this.
And so we have a facility in California that's up and running, but
I was gonna say, we have a demonstration facility in Lancaster.
I mean, that's Lake Ledge, what, pulling 20,000?
This would be the first plant of this size.
this would be the first plant of the size, but
Nobody in
again,
Lancaster, they'd approve it.
867 acre feet versus 21,000.
Come on.
Okay, a lot of us just
That's
went
where
to,
the egg front goes.
okay,
Yeah.
a lot of us just went to a meeting with the Attorney General, who's the
Yes.
next town, Brenda.
Yes.
Salone, talking about the water. She has a whole team working on water problems here, and she has a hydrologist. Are you guys gonna consult with her?
We'd be happy to.
Truthfully,
Yeah.
if she is really looking out for us. If she says it's okay, great, but I don't think she's gonna tell you that.
Yeah.
She
No,
doesn't want any new water consumption, but if you could guarantee us that, then you know.
If we could, yeah, we are happy to, and we will in fact reach out to the hydrologist, working with the Attorney General's office, and we'd be happy to do that. We've met with a few of the water experts in this area, shared with them the results of our initial study that you guys got tonight, and they felt like it was accurate information. So we're happy to do that. Again, we want to be as transparent as possible to this community. We
We don't wanna speak on their behalf, and we're not gonna represent what they said if they're not here,
Who
but
were your water guys, your water well guys?
Who are your water sources?
Yeah, who's your water
So we-
sources? Why don't you use the two that are good here? That end and this end, we have two experts that have been drilling wells here for 50 years. Did you use them on your project? Nope.
who's that?
That would benefit the area.
And Weiser, both are well diggers. And did you use any of those guys? No. You're already outsourcing. Just saying.
The well
And
diggers.
did you talk to those guys? They'll tell you more about aquifers than everybody in here because they've been doing it for 50 years. They can tell you exactly where to drill on your property and where not.
We've talked to some local folks about the aquifer and about water resources.
Those guys are the
They
drillers.
never said it.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you keep telling us over and over again that you want to share information, you want to share this and share that and share the next, and you'll have meetings, but meetings is not always the best way to share that information. So what is your proposed plan to giving us the accurate information that you're telling us you want to share with us?
Yeah.
Along with all the testing and all the different resources, how are you getting that to my hand?
Yes.
What would you like to see? Would you like that posted somewhere?
Well, how,
Yeah.
what's your proposal, what's your plan? Do you have is there a link on your website?
Yeah,
So we know.
we felt it important to come here and share the information with you directly before you read it in the newspaper or before you see it on the website. We're planning to build a resource for all of the information around this project to be placed online. We'll provide access to the reports. We'll provide access to a form to ask questions, any of that. Again, it's important for you to understand this process is going to be a long process. We have a long way to go. We have a lot of people's trust to
We're
earn.
in 2026, and that's really not that far away.
2 years, less than 2 years. And why won't you guys, if you've already done it in Lancaster, why don't you do this in Lancaster? Why do you do it in Arizona? No, I am, that's what I'm asking you. Why don't you do this in Lancaster? Why are you here?
We've done it.
But you're not doing this in Lancaster. You don't have these big
sun is
beards
better.
there.
Life is good.
Yes, sir.
I was just curious how many gallons of water it takes to make a gallon of hydrogen.
Is hydrogen measured?
I don't think hydrogen is measured in gallons.
It's a solid.
We're looking at Yantine because she's smarter than both of us.
So Princeton engineers doing math in their head right now, we can tell.
Well,
You don't have to, you don't have to convert that to gallons on the fly.
If you guys do get this in.
We can get back to you on
And it gets
some
going
apples to
bad,
apples.
all you gotta do is declare bankruptcy and think of declaring
That's it.
There is no company
There's no
who has
guarantee.
that as its goal.
There is no guarantees.
That's certainly
Yes, sir.
not our goal.
Two things, is you say you're gonna make electricity.
Hydrogen.
Is it all gonna be just, well, you had a generator, you're gonna run electricity with the generator. Is that gonna go on the grid, or are you gonna need that all for your plants?
The electricity generated on site will go to the production of the hydrogen. And that's what it's designed to do. It's not designed.
Next thing is that your liquid in the fuel state, what kind of dangers are there with that in storing?
So we're not planning on storing any hydrogen on site. And as soon as the hydrogen is produced, we would then sell it on the market, and hopefully that stays in Arizona. You know, as with any fuel, there's always going to be a risk, but hydrogen, I would say, is minimal. The risk to the community is minimal, but it's a fuel, right? And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it couldn't get.
If there's a spill.
If there's a
what kind of
spill,
environmental damage?
If there's a spill, it'll evaporate.
yeah, no, it basically gets
Dissipates.
dispersed in the air. Yeah, it dissipates very quickly. Hydrogen is, hydrogen is in the air that we're breathing right now.
But when you're
I-
transporting
But
it,
it's
is
in
it
a
gas
clean,
or
normal
liquid?
state.
Well, but
Not
when it's
built.
concentrated, it's actually lighter than air, so it quickly dissipates. It does not create a vapor cloud. It does not go and contaminate water or the ground or anything like that.
Our roads are already horrible.
Now,
4280 has a weight limit.
yeah, no,
Our
and
production comes out to about 1 truck leaving the property per hour.
Per hour?
so 12
You don't live
so
per
12 trucks over the course of 12 hours.
12 trucks in 12 hours.
I mean,
That's a rush hour here in Bouse. And we have
I've
too many
driven,
trucks now.
and I see quite a few trucks on the road.
Right, and we have too many trucks now.
Can I make a motion to cancel this?
Listen,
Okay, sorry guys.
no. We appreciate that. We're here to happy to answer as many questions as you all have. We plan to be back. I have cards. Everybody has cards. We're here to help answer your questions. Again, we came to Bouse first, and you guys have spoken very loud and clearly. We hear that. We've got a lot of questions we need to get you better answers on.
Have you been to Brenda? Not yet.
What's that?
Yeah, Brenda
Haven't
will
been
be
to
worse
Brenda
than us.
yet.
Well, but Brenda doesn't have a Chamber of Commerce, do they?
No, they don't, but you can't go there now because they're mostly gone.
Right.
If you go there when they're
Well,
there,
and-
we're gonna be worse than us, I
Okay,
guarantee
well,
you.
we're happy to go to Brenda. You know, we came here tonight because we were told that most people are gonna leave town, so we wanted to be here before you all left.
Most of them already
These are
left.
permanent people.
These are permanent gone. The rest are gone already.
Yeah, where
Okay.
are we?
You guys need to look into that weight limit on Avenue.
We will.
42E.
For sure.
No,
It is.
there's no trucks allowed on
There's no trucks allowed on 42E.
You gotta take Vicksburg Road, and that's a badass road.
No, but they gotta leave their plant, which is on 42E.
Well, now, listen, you know,
We can make sure that doesn't. There's ways around that.
I mean, a couple of things. We have to put together a transportation plan as part of the permitting program. We have to work with the county, for any county road infrastructures, which point taken is 42E, so, all of that would be required oversight.
and if there are improvements that need to be made, we would do that. You know, if this other road, makes more sense. Again,
Did any of the entities that you guys spoke with, did they ask you to put up a bond, or is that part of your plan, by any chance?
It's a state road.
For the road improvements,
In case something happens?
that would likely come down the road, when we coordinate with Public Works on that,
That's a good question.
yeah.
If I was trucking stuff in and out of a place, I would make sure that there was not a road limit.
Yeah.
Weight limit on restriction on the road.
There is a weight
And there
limit
is.
on that.
okay.
I live right there by the sign.
We're not gonna run a truck on a road if there's a limit to it, that we're over. That's just, we're not gonna do that.
I don't know how you would if you're hauling trucks in there and out of there just to build the thing.
That road is just slurry and dirty.
Well,
No thanks.
this has been constructive.
Yeah.
Other questions? Anything else, guys? Yes, ma'am.
Just a parting thought, when those wells went in, one of the first things most of
got off on the wrong foot.
Good to know.
And we're hoping we can repair that relationship.
Yeah.
You can, by the way.
Why?
Mr. Hall, quit being so shy, please.
Yeah. Guys, thank you.
Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.